is my proposition for activities that can be done at home using the digital books provided at manuale.edu.ro. Let's open the digital book for the 7th grade at page 92. Those of you who have used digital books before may have noticed that there are some symbols on the far left and far right of each page. Speakers, a console remote, magnifying glasses, a video, etc. Our lesson today is about ecotourism. You are most definitely familiar with both words, ecology and tourism, but what results from their combination? In order to find that out, let's provide definition by choosing the correct option. Ecotourism means responsible/irresponsible travel to natural/man-made areas, destroying/conserving the environment and improving/threatening the well-being of the local people. You may already have guessed that ecotourism means responsible travel to natural areas, conserving the environment and improving the well-being of the local people. So let's be ecotourists for one day, but only via technology this time, unfortunately, hoping that better days will follow. Now, for our first activity, please press the first speaker on the left and listen to the names of plants and animals in exercise 1. Check your pronunciation at this stage.
Unit 6.2 Ecotourism 2. Exercise 1, page 92. 1,
Eagle,
2,
water lily,
3,
oak tree,
4,
deer,
5,
wolf,
6,
wildcat,
7,
tortoise,
8,
willow,
9,
heron,
10,
vines,
11,
swan,
12.
tree frog.
Now, press the second speaker and as you listen, take the species in exercise 1 that you hear mentioned in the text. Then decide which animals are not mentioned and hazard the reason why.
Exercise 2, page 92.
Visit the Danube Delta. Have you ever been to the Danube Delta Biosphere Reserve? You should. It's on the coast of Romania, where the Danube River flows into the Black Sea, and it's the perfect place to see the country's natural beauty. From lakes and rivers to marshes and ancient forests, the Danube Delta has it all. What to see? The reserve is special because it contains 23 natural ecosystems. This means there is a huge variety of flora and fauna there. You can see herons by the water and white-tailed eagles flying in the sky above you. You can also glimpse wildcats in the forest and see tortoises enjoying the sunshine on a warm day. Grey wolves also live in the area, but it's rare to see one. The reserve is a great place for plant lovers too. Water lilies and willows grow by the water, and the Latea forest is home to oak trees with vines twisting around their trunks. Some of these trees are 700 years old. What to do? Have you ever tried kayaking? It's just one activity you can do at the Danube Delta Biosphere Reserve. You can also go on a boat trip to explore, or go on a forest hike. Fishing is another popular activity in the lakes and rivers of the Danube Delta, and with 312 species of birds, this reserve is a paradise for bird watchers.
And you were right. 9 species of plants and animals from exercise 1 are mentioned in the text. The animals are herons, eagles, wildcats, tortoises and grey wolves, while the plants are water lilies, willows, oak trees and vines. You may think that the three animals which are not mentioned, the swan, the deer and the tree frog, don't live there. But I checked and they are endemic to the area too, which means they also live there. They are probably left out, together with many others that populate the Danube Delta, for practical purposes, since the text is not a mere list of plants and animals, but so much more, including location, activities to do in the Delta, and so on. Now, if you take a look at the vocabulary below the text, words such as marsh, ecosystem, glimpse, or twist may stand out among the rest. Some of you may be familiar with them, owing to your previous readings, but they are interesting nonetheless, and we should all try to own them and, why not, use them in our future productions. Firstly, does the word ecosystem sound familiar? We have already discussed ecotourism, so we may safely say that ecosystem is another eco-friendly word, and the list may continue with eco-village, eco-warrior, or even eco-catastrophe. And if we take a look at the etymology, we learn that an ecosystem is represented by all the living things in an area and the way they affect each other and the environment. How come then that there are 23 ecosystems in the Danube Delta Biosphere Reserve? Easy. A marsh is an ecosystem, a lake is another, a forest is another, and so on. And our delta has them all. In the same way, we can derive the meaning of glimpse from the context. You can see herons by the water. You can also glimpse wildcats in the forest and sea tortoises enjoying the sunshine. So, do you think a glimpse is a type of look or walk? Is it A, short and by chance, or B, long and purposeful? If so, which two of the phrases below you think may be correct? A, take a glimpse, B, catch a glimpse, or C, get a glimpse. Also, you can learn what marsh and twist mean by watching a video about the Danube Delta Biosphere Reserve, and in order to do that, please press the fourth button on the left. The answers are at 21 seconds and 1 minute into the video, respectively.
Visit the Danube Delta. Have you ever been to the Danube Delta Biosphere Reserve? It's on the coast of Romania, where the Danube River flows into the Black Sea, and it's the perfect place to see the country's natural beauty. From lakes and rivers to marshes and ancient forests, the Danube Delta has it all. What to see? The reserve is special because it contains 23 natural ecosystems. This means there is a huge variety of flora and fauna there. You can see herons by the water, and white-tailed eagles flying in the sky above you. You can also glimpse wildcats in the forest and see tortoises enjoying the sunshine on a warm day. Grey wolves also live in the area, but it's rare to see one. The reserve is a great place for plant lovers too. Water lilies and willows grow by the water, and the Litea forest is home to oak trees with vines twisting around their trunks. Some of these trees are 700 years old. What to do? Have you ever tried kayaking? It's just one activity you can do at the Danube Delta Biosphere Reserve. You can also go on a boat trip to explore, or go on a forest hike. Fishing is another popular activity in the lakes and rivers of the Danube Delta, and with 312 species of birds, this reserve is a paradise for birdwatchers.
Now, can you answer these questions? 4. Is a marsh A type of watery, or B, rocky land? 5. When vines twist, do they A, hang loosely from the branches, or B, grow tightly around the tree trunks? The answers to all the questions above are, of course, a glimpse is a type of short look, which you can get or catch by chance. A marsh is a type of watery land, and twisting vines grow tightly round the tree trunks. Now, please take a look at the sentences in exercise 3. And after having both listened to and watched the video, perhaps you can fill in the answers. Scanning the text may also prove useful, but before doing that, let's decide what type of information is required in each gap. Thus, in sentence 1, the Danube Delta is at the end of the, and before you venture to answer the rainbow, you can anticipate that the gap requires a place. Well, taking into consideration what a tremendous natural asset the delta is to Romania, you wouldn't be so offbeat in suggesting the delta is like a pot of gold. But of course, the answer is the Danube Delta is at the end of the Danube River, that is, where it flows into the Black Sea. Question 2 includes a number. And you may remember we have already answered this question when we discussed ecosystems. So, the reserve has got 23 different ecosystems. Question 3, it's unusual to see, will probably remind us of the hard-to-spot animals in the reserve. Remember, we can glimpse wildcats, that is, spot them by chance if you're really lucky. But later on, we'll learn that the animals that are truly hard to spot are the grey wolves. The adjective rare in the text is a synonym for the adjective unusual and should provide the clue. Question 4. Oak trees grow in the. Obviously, a place is required here, and the place is the Letea forest. Question 5 is about bird watching, and given the vast number of bird species, 312 in all, we understand why the delta is a paradise for bird watchers. Now, it's time to play at last. Of course, not just any game, but the one in exercise 4. If you press the first button on the left, that is the console remote, you will open a gap-filling activity. Let's fill in the gaps with the given prepositions: for, of, to, in, on. Sentence 1. It's cool and quiet in the forest. In being the most common preposition of place. Sentence 2. There are over 1,500 species of birds in the Amazon rainforest. Of here establishes a relation between the two nouns, species and birds. Sentence 3. They live on the coast and visit the beach every day. On is another very frequent preposition of place. 4. The mountains are a paradise for skiers in winter. 4. Showing purpose. And 5. The Galapagos Islands are home to giant tortoises. Now, in order to check ourselves, we can press the check button at the bottom of the page.
Very good. You did great.
I'd like us to focus on the preposition to, which generally shows direction or purpose. Here, it's a bit tricky, and if it hadn't been provided in the rubric, some students might have used for or of instead. While to and for are interchangeable in this context, with to still being the preferred option, of would have required the use of the definite article the before home, that is, the home of. Now, in keeping with the ecological message of our lesson, and in order to better acquire this new collocation, here is another example. The Carpathians are home to some endangered species of plants and animals, such as the Edelweiss and the chamois. And we can take this opportunity to introduce the Edelweiss and the chamois grammar-wise. Of course, You can also give some other examples of your own. For the next part of our lesson, I'd like you to take a look at the format of the Danube Delta text. What type of writing is it? Is it a blog, a letter, an article maybe? You're right, it's none of the above, although some may be tempted to say article, mainly owing to the use of descriptive language, with enumerations and adjectives, both simple and compound. Natural beauty, ancient forest, white-tailed eagles. Well, let me help you decide. First, it addresses the reader directly, starting from the title, which is an imperative. Visit the Danube Delta. And then engaging the reader constantly via questions. Have you ever been? Have you tried? Suggestions. You can see, you can go. And advice. You should. Secondly, it uses persuasive language. It is a paradise for bird watchers, including exclamations, the Danube Delta has it all, and superlatives, the perfect place, a huge variety, a great place, etc. Also, it's very well structured, being divided into paragraphs with subheadings in order to make a strong case. Last but not least, it only focuses on the positive aspects of a Delta experience, leaving aside any negative ones, few as they may be, such as the annoying mosquitoes. Taking all these into consideration, we can safely say that this text is a travel advertisement, and a very persuasive one at that. The time has come for a little grammar. Let's isolate the introductory sentence. Have you ever been to the Danube Delta Biosphere Reserve? We've already established that this question engages the readers directly, appealing to their previous experience. That's why this use of the present perfect is aptly named the present perfect of experience. The only possible answers one can get to this question are yes, I have, or no, I haven't. Let's see how the question is formed and how we can ask WH questions. If you have been to the Delta, we can assume you're back now. But, for example, if you say that you are alone this week, it may be because your parents have gone to the Danube Delta and are spending the week there. So, the difference between have been and have gone is that in the first case you have been away and already returned, while in the second case the person who has gone away hasn't returned yet. So the first example illustrates the present perfect of experience, where the subject has been away and returned, is probably at home now and would like to repeat the experience someday, while in the second case the subject is still away and the present perfect is used here for a recent action with a present result. Now, can you spot another present perfect question in the text? Here it is, in the beginning of the third paragraph. Have you tried kayaking? This is one activity that you can do in the Delta. Let's for a moment pretend that you have authored this advertisement and are face to face with one of your readers. Please ask the reader similar questions. You can start from the following sentences. Grey wolves also live in the area, but it's rare to spot one. Your turn. Have you ever seen or spotted a grey wolf? You can also go on a boat trip to explore or go on a forest hike. Your turn. Have you ever been on a boat trip, explored the Delta by boat, gone forest hiking? And in this manner you can start a dialogue with a partner, and you can also do exercises 6 and 7 on page 93. And now, to end in the same manner as we started, let's do the listening activity in exercise 8. Listen to a message and decide if the sentences are true, false, or not stated. Before listening, let's read the sentences and see what we can make of them. Now, what we'll learn from here is that Anna is visiting Sweden these days, and she is telling her friend Louise about that. We can predict that the weather is most likely warmer where Louise is, knowing that Sweden is a really cold country. So sentence 1 is probably true. We can also predict that she is planning to visit or has visited the most important tourist attractions, such as Stockholm, the country's capital, and some of the islands, and would like to see and take photos of the Northern Lights. But at this point, we cannot say which sentences are true and which are not. So let's just listen to the material and then we will know for sure. While you are listening to the text, don't forget to mark the sentences true, false, or not stated. And in the case of the false ones, make ready to correct them.
Exercise 8, page 93.
Hi, Louise. It's Anna. I guess you've gone to the beach. You always go on Sundays in the summer, right? It's actually winter here in Sweden. It's really cold, but it's amazing. I've explored the capital, Stockholm, and been to lots of interesting museums. I've also just been to Skogen National Park and seen incredible views of the islands and the ocean. I'd like to go on a boat tour before I leave and see the coastline from the other side. I'm going even further north next week. I'm hoping to see the Northern Lights. I've seen so many pictures of them, but it would be wonderful to see the real thing. I'll call you again in a few days. Bye!
So, sentence 1, the weather is warmer where Louise is. And sentence 2, Anna has visited Sweden's capital city, are true. Sentence 3, Anna has been to the islands on a boat tour, is false, because Anne has seen views of the islands and she'd like to go on a boat tour next week, but she hasn't been on one yet. Sentence 4, Anna is going to a different country next week, is also false, because she is going further north next week, but not to a different country. While sentence 5, Anna wants to take photos of the Northern Lights, is not stated, because Anna has seen pictures of the Northern Lights and got mesmerized, but there is no mention of her being keen on photography or meaning to do so.